welcome to the 11th episode of the J&J podcast. My name is John Madigan.
I'm Joe Vasala.
Thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in. Joe, how's your day? How you doing?
My day is good. How's your day going, John?
Yeah, not too bad. Just hanging out. We have everybody coming over for Easter today, so I did a lot of setting up and everything. Had to get the house ready and everything for people coming over tomorrow. It should be a nice day. What are you doing for Easter?
I'm chilling with my family. We're gonna have some food. Do you still get an Easter basket?
According to my mother, this year I'm not. Yeah. I haven't gotten a basket per se in the last 4 or 5 years. I would usually just get a gift card and maybe a candy bar or something, But apparently this year I'm not getting anything. So happy Easter.
The awesome part of having a little brother is that the little things like the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus come around every year. So
that's right. Because your brother, spoiler alert, your brother still believes in the Easter Bunny, so you get the stuff too. That's awesome.
Yes, it's great.
Oh my god, I wish my brother was like that.
You mean your brother doesn't believe in the Easter Bunny?
No.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Jerk. Speaking about my brother, he actually he's been working and he just got his first paycheck though today. Yeah, so that's good on him. But Joe, what did you have for lunch today?
I had ice cream and I also had hot dogs.
Oh, the lunch of champions.
Yeah.
For a snack, I went to Sonic and I got a slushie and tater tots. And because that's really all I had for lunch per se. And then for dinner, I had a burger from Cheeseburger.
What's Cheeseburger?
So Cheeseburger is a place on Staten Island, and they sell they make these enormous burgers, but I don't get the big one. They have literally burgers that are 1 pound, 2 pound. It's ridiculous. And so I got a smaller one though, of course. But the name comes from an SNL Saturday Night Live skit that was back in the day, I think with Will Ferrell. And they worked in a burger restaurant called Cheeseburger. It was much like Good Burger, Keenan and Kel.
Yeah. So it was the place? I've never heard of it before.
It's near the first Target. Remember when we got on the bus and we got all the way down to that Target so we can get down to that Home Depot that's next to the Target so we can get that wood to build your cross, and then we had to bring it back on the bus. Bus driver was not too happy with us that day. But yeah, so we went down there. But yeah, so Joe, what is it you want to talk about today on the J&J podcast?
Well, I'm good for just about anything, John. You know me. I don't know. I don't think I have any stories. I have one story, but it happened a while ago. But it's a really funny story. So I don't know.
So say it.
Well, okay. It's a true story. You can look it up. But it happened a few years ago. I think it was 2-3 years ago. But I'll never forget it as long as I live. So let me just ask you, John, and I feel like we can be open and honest with each other.
Oh, boy.
Have you ever
That's never good. Have I ever what? What was the question? Gotten drunk? No, I've never been drunk. I got just a little tipsy on my cruise. Just very, 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 very little. I was stumbling a little bit, but that could have been because the cruise was rocking. And, I had 2 or 3 drinks that day. But over the span of 5 or 6 hours. So, but I was not drunk by any means necessary.
I've never gotten drunk. I don't drink. But I was reading the story about this guy. He got drunk.
Yeah, we got to change that.
What? No, John. But I don't drink. But I was reading the story about this guy, and he got drunk, and he went to a park. And I think it was Staten Island. I think it might have been Cove Lake Park. And him and his friends, him and his friends bet that he could sit in a baby swing, and not get stuck.
Really?
Swing in the swing, and he bet them $100. And so to get into the swing, he took off all of his clothes except for his underwear. He gets in and he tries to rock back and forth, and he gets stuck there, and his friends leave him there overnight. And the police pick him up in the morning in his birthday suit.
Oh boy. Well then.
He lost $100 too.
That's the important part. Staten Island has been a little crazy lately.
It's always been a little crazy.
I know Staten Island has always been crazy, for sure. Staten Island has never been the place to live, except for us. But
except for you, I left.
There has been such an increase in shootings, just random drive-by shootings, where people just come by, like, let's say you're just walking down the street, the guys they pull down the window, and then boom, 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 and they kill you right there on the street. There's been like a huge, I think 3 people died over the weekend.
Wow, that's crazy.
And then, do you know where the Perkins is on Staten Island? It's like in the shopping center with Carvel and everything.
Yeah.
Thursday afternoon, a man died in the men's bathroom because he was out the Perkins, and then he went into the bathroom to shoot up heroin, and then he died, ODing, and then they didn't find him for like a few hours later. I guess he wasn't with anybody. So Staten Island's been a little uneasy at the moment.
Well, John, like, I'm sorry, like, I love the island, I'm from the island, but you guys really need Jesus over there, it's just really, it's getting rough. Did you hear about the temple?
That's why you need to come back.
I'm not Jesus.
I know. Did we hear about what?
The temple of Baal.
No, what's the temple of Baal?
So there's this god in the lowercase g god in the Bible, that God, the God capital G.
Okay,
God,
explain the lowercase g and the capital G. Explain it.
Okay, so there are gods, lowercase g, and they're not really gods; they're demons.
Okay.
Right? But whenever you see God with a capital G, it's God, real God, the God. Okay, are you following?
I get you.
And so there's this lowercase g God that's in the Bible called Baal, and then there's the real God, the true God, and God, the true God, says that he hates this God Baal, and that when his people worship this God Baal, that it's like prostituting themselves in the eyes of the Lord, and it's wicked and evil, and it's terrible. And God even expresses emotional pain over the fact that his people are worshiping this false god called Baal. And I read in an article lately that that a new temple of Baal is being built in Times Square.
Oh wow!
Right, that woke you up, didn't it? Right, and so this temple of Baal is being set up, and it's going to be abundant. It's going to be really bad, John. Like, I'll be honest with you, it's really not something that we should
time for another protest from Joe Vasallo.
John, I'm telling you right now, if they build the Temple of Baal, I'm getting out of here. People talk about if Trump gets in, man, if that temple goes up, I'm out.
If I remember correctly, a few podcasts ago, you said publicly that you were going to vote for Trump.
Well, I'm not necessarily sure if I'm going to vote for Trump. I said if I'm going to vote, it would probably be for Trump.
Here's the thing I got to say, because let's be honest here. All the caucuses are not done, but it looks like, just from the numbers that are out right now, it looks like it's going to be Hillary against Trump. Would you say that's a fair statement to say, just by looking at the numbers at this moment?
I'd say that's a very scary.
It's a scary statement, but can you say it's an accurate one? Because I don't want to be like, well, Bernie won 2 caucuses today, and I'm just saying, just by the overall numbers that we've seen over time, it looks like it's going to be Trump against Hillary. Is that? Okay.
Yes, I agree. And my problem, I do have a problem recently. I've learned this about Trump. So I have some problems with Trump now.
Oh, you're just starting to have problems with Trump? You're now?
Well,
now?
I've had some problems with Trump, but they're becoming more and more they're increasing in number, but I still don't know. Oh gosh, it's just so bad. When our only choices are between Trump and Hillary, that we have really bad issues.
Here's the thing. Now, honest to God, this is my first time I can vote. I don't want to vote for either of these two people. Here's the thing I will say, though. I kind of feel like the people that are voting for Trump really want Trump to win. Like, they are actually real supporters of Trump. I feel like a good portion of the people that are voting for Hillary are people who simply just don't want to see Trump get into office, and they just want anything else. Like, I kind of feel like it's not really earning your votes.
I'll put it to you like this. Well, let's face it, John, okay? We all know that Hillary wasn't going to earn her votes no matter what. She was either going to lie her votes or buy her
she's a Clinton.
But to be fair, I feel like no one actually votes for anybody anymore. We just vote for our parties.
Yeah, I would say so too. That's definitely. I mean, how would you feel if, it's been Republican versus Democrat, forever. I mean, how would you feel if one year we had something just completely off the wall, like no Republican, no Democrat, something just completely crazy?
Well, John, if we're going to either vote in Trump or Clinton, we're getting something completely crazy.
There you go. I mean, but who's the lesser of two evils? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
Well, that's a big problem that we have in our society is we say, well, what's the lesser of two evils, when we don't realize that the Bible actually says there's just evil. Like, there is no lesser of two evils. There's either God or not God.
Well, yeah, but there's like Hitler and then there's Stalin. I mean,
well, John, that's a really bad case. People and Stalin killed 21 million people.
Right. So who's the lesser of two evil?
They're both bad.
Oh man, but that's the thing. So I kind of feel like Hillary is getting a lot of votes simply. Well, I don't know. Can I say that yet? Because in most states, when you vote for your primary, you can only vote between Hillary and Bernie. You can't vote for the Republican nominee. But I kind of feel like in the general election, that's what's going to be. You're going to have Trump supporters, and then you're not going to have Hillary fans. You're going to have people who are not Trump supporters. Is that?
I think that's a fair statement. Like, oh gosh, it's just so bad because
And how can one person who says that many crazy things have that many fans?
Well, oh, come on, John. We have 400 fans, so
that's right. We broke over 450 downloads. Thank you, guys.
I feel like if 450 people will listen to us, all right, then at least a couple hundred have to listen to Trump.
There you go. I mean, it's scary, and
it is. Well, what's more scary is the fact that our options are Bernie Sanders, Trump, or Hillary Clinton. Like, whatever happened to Cruz, right? What happened to that guy?
Speaking about Cruz, I'm assuming you didn't hear about the Ted Cruz sex scandal.
No,
he's had like 5 mistresses.
Well, damn. Okay, that takes Cruz off.
Something tells me Cruz is gonna, get out of the race very soon because he's.
Well, I mean, my biggest issue with Trump is, well, okay, first let me just start with Hillary. My biggest issue with Hillary is she's a pathological liar. Like, she lies without even thinking about it, which is really impressive. Like, coming from Staten Island to look at somebody and be like, they're a good liar.
Totally. Because on this island, first of all, we have plenty of mobsters. There's a mobster on every block on Staten Island. Everyone knows that. I know the mobster on my block. So this is...
So FBI, you know who to talk to.
Well, let's not get that far into it. But it's very true that there's a mobster on just about every block on Staten Island. But... when you just see someone like Hillary, which I believe she held some sort of rally on Staten Island like 2 months ago, and it was in some like Gambino crime family house. Like, that's where the rally was held. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I mean, more like if you look at some of her policies, like 1 minute she says, I'm against abortion. Then the next minute she says she's for abortion. 1 minute she says she's against gay marriage. The next minute she says she is for gay marriage. 1 minute she says that they came under fire when they landed in a foreign country. Then you see the video and
being greeted. I love it.
Right. And my biggest problem with Trump is that he agrees with abortion in the case of rape or incest.
Right.
Now that's my biggest issue with Trump.
It's a touchy subject, especially when you come down to abortion.
Well, let's.
I don't know. I don't know. Should we open this can of worms? I mean, yeah.
I feel like, do we have a few people listening? What do you think, people who are listening? Should we open up this can of worms? Oh, no one is listening, apparently. Blab lied when it says 3 people joined. But anyway. And so, I mean, I think that this is an important issue that we need to dissect. And what it really boils down to is that child that's conceived out of rape or incest a living person?
Is it a living person? Yeah. Yeah.
It's a person. It's a person. So then just because something happened to that woman, does that mean that woman can kill that baby?
No.
And so then there you go. That's my trouble with Trump. But Hillary wants to kill baby and wants to have like 3rd trimester abortions.
Or the next day she's against it, you know? So,
you never know with her.
Oh God. I mean, I don't want to speak too much about abortion because that's too much of a heavy topic for like a lighthearted podcast like ours. But I will say this.
Especially what's coming next week, we should probably get the fans ready for some heavy-hearted.
Let's not even talk about that yet. So, how I feel on the subject is, am I against abortion? Short answer, 100% yes. I'm not for abortion. But do I believe there should be abortion clinics? Yes. You may be wondering why. Well, because just like with anything, people are going to do it anyway. And I think if you're going to do it, you should do it by a certified, trained professional. And
now I'm going to explain why I don't believe in abortion.
I'm not finished, Joseph.
Okay.
So what I feel like is that if these people are going to get it done anyway, then they should get it done the proper way, as they don't cause any harm to themselves. And I think we should probably stop focusing on abortion and focus more on adoption. I feel like adoption is where it's at. You don't have to. No one's saying that you have to essentially keep the baby in the sense that you have to, keep it in your home and love it and take care of it. At least give it to an adoption agency so somebody else can take the baby and treat it the way it should be. But at least, that baby has a life, and, regardless of what happened, you should, that baby at least deserves life,
Right. And my biggest issue is this, right? Like over and over and over in the Bible, God says, like, I created people in the womb, right? Like I knew them in the womb, right? And what it boils down to is that baby that's being born is just as real and just as much a human being as me.
Right. I agree completely. And that, that baby doesn't have a choice.
Right. It's not like it can be like, well, get me out of here. Like, no, like it's dependent.
Mm-hmm. Now,
so that's my biggest issue with Trump and Hillary. That's why I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to vote at all.
Well, now. I mean, there's always Vermin Supreme. You can always vote for Vermin Supreme. That is always an option.
Oh, I'm not voting for Vermin.
Why? He is a great man. He's great. Does he have anything that you don't stand against?
Anything that I stand against?
Yeah. Does he have anything? Is there anything he's said that you're like, no, I can't back that? What?
Yes. He believes in a zombie apocalypse.
Well, he's going to harvest the zombies, to generate energy for the country.
Right. And my problem with that is the Bible says that people will raise from the dead, and that'll be the day of the Lord.
What about the free ponies?
No, I don't want a pony.
It's a free pony, though.
I don't care.
Well, I want a pony, and I'm thinking my vote may go to Vermin Supreme this year.
Well, you go, John. You vote for Vernon. I'm not.
But, one of the things I want to talk about was gaming, and I wish you had a gaming console, because I must say, I really enjoy gaming with you. You're the, when we were It was like this last summer. You know, we were playing Xbox non-friggin' stop, and that's why I asked my parents for an Xbox One for my birthday last year. And I think if you had Xbox Live, we'd be playing Xbox all the friggin' time.
We probably would, John, but I have this thing called life, and I can't.
Joe, I have a life too. Okay, I play my Xbox maybe once a week. You know, I don't have time to touch the Xbox. I'm out. I'm doing things. I have many projects coming up. I'm living life. But
John, I want to talk. Oh.
I'm just saying. I think I wish. Can we do anything? Can we start like a GoFundMe page to get you an Xbox?
No, John, you don't understand. I have an Xbox. Hell, I even have Xbox Live. If you really must know, okay. But the point of the matter is, I don't use it because I don't have time to use it.
Well, and your mom wouldn't let you, right?
And my mom wouldn't let me.
Okay. Well,
no, John. I just realized something, and it makes me a little angry. It grinds my gears a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. So, you know the whole theory of evolution, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what makes me mad is when atheists, right, when they support animal care and animal research. Do you know why?
No.
Because if they truly believed in evolution, then they would truly believe that letting that animal die would just help strengthen the gene pool of the entire species.
Fair enough.
Think about it.
Yeah, I mean, all right, that's a fair argument.
Right? It makes me mad. Just back to the abortion thing. You know, I'm not off that.
Joe. Okay. I guess we're opening up the can of worms.
Yes, we are. Okay, let me rant for a minute.
Rant. Do your rant.
It makes me mad that we'll kill a baby in our country, but by God, if you smash an eagle's egg, okay, you're going to jail for 25 years. God bless America. That pisses me off. Okay, now I'm done, I think. What's your headline you want to do?
The headline I want to do is just from like 2 days ago. Happened in Pennsylvania, and you may have seen this story because it blown up worldwide. Our big, just regular headline, not the dumb headline, but this is kind of a dumb headline. A man in Pennsylvania was pulled over by the police for a broken taillight, which seemed fine. And then they ran his license plate on the on their machine. And it actually came up with a warrant for his arrest from 14 years ago. And Joseph, do you want to guess why he had a warrant for his arrest?
Bar fight?
Not a bar fight. Dumber than that.
I don't know.
He didn't return a VHS tape to a video store that's no longer existing.
So he has a warrant out for his arrest for that.
Yeah, he didn't return the VHS tape, and that started late fees, and he didn't. He never. He had a warrant for his arrest because he never returned the VHS tape. Which, by the way, he claims he has no clue where it is, and unfortunately, they had to take him in handcuffs.
That's crazy.
Is crazy.
That's absolutely crazy.
I mean, I couldn't believe it. And the cop even said to him, apparently this is a quote from the news article. It said, he came over to him and said, "Sir, I don't know how to tell you this, but apparently you rented a movie called Freddy Got Fingered, and you didn't return it back to the video store, and now we have to arrest you for it." So
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's completely crazy.
Now, Joe, is there something that you've borrowed either from a friend or from a business that you just never returned?
Not from a friend. There might be somewhere in the world a library book that I still have to return. I don't know.
That's the same thing with me. I got library books.
I think I just have one. I have the one, and I just I remember looking at it and I have to return this, and then I just I couldn't find it.
There's a great video online of this is from a few years ago. A few years ago, there was one remaining Blockbuster location. There was just one. There was one location left, and this guy brought in VHS tapes that he said he was there to return back, and they scanned it, and they said the late fees were up to like $9,000. And he was like, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to come in and pay this another time." Oh my god! It was.
I'm like 90% sure there's an expiration date for that.
An expiration date for late fees?
I'm pretty sure for like library books at least.
This was a Blockbuster.
Right. But I'm saying I think for library books there's an expiration date.
You know, I can't wait for and your parents will definitely know more about this than you do. But Joe, have you ever heard about the Columbia House CD Club?
No.
So the Columbia House CD Club or Cassette Club, depending on which era you were in, was a club you started and you were able to get 12 CDs for a penny. And then you had to fulfill a commitment to buy like 10 more CDs within the course of like 2 years at full regular price, which I don't know how much that was, but the prices were extraordinary. And what people would do in order to build up their CD collection was they would fill out names and addresses, like random addresses, and go and pick up the CDs and then never fulfill the orders because everything was through the mail. So there was no paper trail. You couldn't just charge someone's credit card. So... And now they're coming back because obviously they went bankrupt because so many people were doing this and they were losing so much money. So now they're coming back as a record club, as a vinyl record club. And you know me, I love my vinyls. And so I can't wait to get like 12 vinyls for $1. And I don't know, Joe, have you ever thought about getting into like vinyl records or cassette tapes?
No, I have my own sorts of collections I like to collect.
What? What do you collect?
I have all of the Star Wars movies, and there's going to be more coming out. So that's kind of like my collection. What other collections?
I feel like that's like a very limited collection. Like there's 6 Star Wars movies, or there's 7 Star Wars movies, and then that's it.
Well, there's 7, and then there are 2 more already
in the works, like
talked about, in the works, right? And we all know Disney. Disney doesn't let anything die. And so I could see like by the time I have kids, they'll be like Star Wars 57. You know what I mean?
I mean, there was such a large gap in between the last 2. I mean, the last trilogy. I mean, do you think it's still going to be like this, or do you think they're going to have this trilogy and then either that's going to be it for like the next 10 years?
Well, I'll put it to you like this, right? So you're not a Star Wars fan, so you don't know this, right? But the next Star Wars movie that's coming out is not part of the trilogy.
Okay.
Right? So essentially they're releasing another 2 trilogies at one time. Wow. Like it's Disney now. It's not George Lucas anymore. You know what I mean? Like if it was George Lucas, I'd be like, yeah, there might be 10 years between movies, right? Or 20 years between movies. But Disney, are you kidding me?
Oh,
they're literally releasing something before the movie comes out, like a second movie before the movie comes out.
I had no clue about that. Now, Joe, have you heard about the possible rumor of the Nintendo Wii U stopping production this year?
I thought that was confirmed.
There's a newspaper in Japan who has been right about other stuff. It's not confirmed by Nintendo. In fact, Nintendo came out and said the opposite, that they won't be stopping production and that the Wii U is doing great and nobody has a thing to worry about. But Nintendo also has a history of lying about this type of thing, and this company that leaked out this information has a history of getting things right about Nintendo like all the time. So people are starting to freak out. I'm being one of them because I bought a Wii U just maybe a month or 2 ago, and I really hope my $300 didn't just go to waste for a console that.
John, you bought a Wii U. Your $300 definitely.
Well, no, because I'm having fun with the Wii U. I think it's a good console, honestly, and I think it would have done much better in sales if it didn't if they didn't name it with that Wii name. I think if they would have named this something completely different, just got away from the Wii name in general, and just, had the ability to play Wii games, I think this would have sold a lot better. But I think people were just genuinely confused about the Wii U. I just think they thought it was like a new version of the Wii, or just kind of like an attachment on. Like, I think people just...
Well, that's what I thought. I'll be honest with you. I never played a Wii U. I thought it was just an attachment.
No, it's just a whole new console. Like, and I think that was part of the problem. They got to get away from that name. And the rumor is that the new console, the Nintendo NX, is going to come out later this year, and that they'll stop making all Wii U games and essentially leave it. And if this happens, this will be the shortest console span Nintendo has ever had.
Right, and I think that Nintendo really needs to step away from, like, they need to go backwards, not forwards.
I mean, how backwards do you think they should go?
Like, the DS was a great system, the SP was a great system, the Nintendo 64 was a great system, but, like, the Wii, not so impressive. The Wii U, not all that impressive. The 3DS was still not that impressive.
Now, I don't know how it did in Japan, but I think Nintendo doesn't realize is that Americans are lazy, and they don't want an entire console based off the fact of you actually having to get up and move around and whatnot. And even though, like, things like the Kinect failed and the PlayStation Move failed, the whole console wasn't based around it. It was an optional attachment. The whole thing with the Wii was that every game required you to do this. That was like their shtick.
Or most.
I mean, like 90%, especially like in the beginning, everyone was, making games with this new motion control. And it was cool for about 10 minutes. And then you realize, wow, I'd much rather just be sitting on the couch playing a game, not having to move my body.
I mean, I really enjoyed the Wii. I really did enjoy the Wii. I felt like after the initial game releases, though, it started going downhill. Like, I remember I really loved the Wii when I played it, like, my first couple of games on it.
I felt like most games on the Wii were simply just a gimmick. I felt like they were all gimmick games.
I felt like there were no grown-up games. Like, Call of Duty is a grown-up game, right? Like, I can sit down as a grown-up but when was the last time you saw an M-rated Wii game?
I think that's like a thing that they're not allowed to have M-rated Wii games. I don't even know if that's like a...
I've seen one.
I mean, I know Call of Duty Ghosts was on the Wii U. And so it's I don't know, just because of the way the graphics work and the controllers work, I don't think I'd ever buy a Call of Duty game on the Wii U. I think I would always stick to my Xbox for that.
Yeah, just because of the way, at least the way I'm wired, right? I'm wired to when I'm playing, particularly when I'm playing Call of Duty, I'm wired to pull the trigger and not move, right?
Of course.
Like, no move, right? And I feel like if I tried to play any other game outside of, like, that particular way of playing, like this, instead of like this, like, it would mess with my brain. But, like, the Dragon Ball Z game that I had for the Wii, that was an awesome game. Destroy All Humans 4 was a great game for the Wii. Wii Sports was a good game for the Wii. Like, it was a good system, but I feel like they started getting stupid.
Yeah, it was definitely got to be a little much, and I think it seems to be just a little much. And I think the Wii U was a solid console, but since it kept that Wii name, it automatically got a bad rep off the back. And I feel like PlayStation is doing so well. I think Xbox has a much better console than PlayStation, other than the fact that PlayStation has, like, better, like, internal stuff, like graphics cards and video cards and whatnot. I just think, like, the games overall on the Xbox are a lot better. But because of their initial press conference at E3, the largest gaming festival in a sense, or conference in the world, I kind of feel like they're the whole system of the Xbox was completely changed at E3. It was not what it is today. It is they focused basically on TV. The whole time they focused on what you can do with your TV and how you can connect the Xbox to the TV. And then they talked about all of this DRM crap, which is like copyright material for video games and music. And they're like, oh well, you won't be able to let your friends borrow games because everything's going to be digital. There won't be any physical releases, and everyone flipped out about that. And then PlayStation came out with the amazing commercial. I don't even know if you remember this commercial, but it was like how to let a friend borrow a game on Xbox One, and it showed like this 10-step process, like crazy. And then it said how to let a friend borrow a game on PlayStation 4, and it just showed two people, and they handed them the game. Here you go, man. I just thought that was a genius commercial.
I mean, that is genius. That's really dirty, though. That was low.
Well, no, it was true, though, because on the Xbox One, they were making it incredibly difficult. You had to, like, log into your Microsoft account online, find the game, and then, X out of it, and then, then go over to your friend's Xbox, log into that Microsoft account, download that game, and it would only be for, like, a trial, and then you had to have, like, your Xbox on while you were at your friend's house, and it was, like, such a complicated process. And then PlayStation's like, here you go. Like they and right. Because of the outrage, Xbox changed everything and they made it so great. But I kind of feel like that stigma was just kind of there at launch that really hurt them, and still today it's hurting them. The PlayStation is doing so much better in sales than the Xbox did. But it's crazy. Oh man, Joseph, is there anything you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. So John, what's tomorrow? Do you know what tomorrow is?
Well, the people who are listening to this podcast, they're listening to this on Wednesday, but as of the time of this recording, tomorrow is Easter. So happy Easter to all our listeners and our fans.
Right. And do you know what Easter's all about? Do you know what happened on Easter 2,000 years ago?
So the Easter Bunny came and he, hops into people's houses and then he leaves chocolate, and yeah, he's a good guy. No, that doesn't happen.
That's not how it goes, John. I'm sorry to break this to you, and just a warning, okay. If you're listening to this and you have kids don't know that, just shut it off now. But John, the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus,
they're my friends. I love them. It's a funny story about them. I gotta say, before you say what you have to say, I gotta tell you a funny story about them. What I think is completely awesome. When I was little, I really loved going to see them every year at the mall in Brooklyn, and when we were moving to Staten Island, I was really afraid that I wouldn't be able to see them anymore because, they came to the Brooklyn Mall every year. Well, guess what? When I moved to Staten Island, they also moved to the Staten Island Mall. How crazy is that? And
now let me,
so I was able to see them, and they
John, listen to me. I love you. I do. You're my friend. But the Easter Bunny isn't real. Santa Claus isn't real, and the Tooth Fairy isn't real. Yes, John.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You've just been your mom and dad putting presents under a tree and in a basket.
No, that can't be. No, Joe, what are you talking about? No. No, buddy. No, that can't be. No. Oh, man. But the Easter Bunny looks creepy now at the Staten Island Mall. They changed him up a lot, and he looks weird.
But anyway, that's not what Easter is all about.
Easter is not all about the Easter Bunny. How dare you?
In fact, the Easter Bunny
kicked off the show.
No, seriously, listen. This is important, okay? And this is important for our listeners. So, listeners, please listen carefully. What happened 2,000 years ago is that there was this person named Jesus Christ.
I think I heard of him.
And he wasn't just a man. He was God and he was man. 100% God and 100% man. Not 50% man and 50% God, but 100% of both.
So he's 200%.
And he was exactly. And he was crucified and died. And when he died, he took the sins of all mankind upon him. But when he rose from the dead, but when on Easter Sunday, he rose from the dead. And because he rose from the dead and because he died, we are justified in the eyes of God if we believe in him. I think that's pretty cool.
Amen. Please be seated. Joe, are you going to church tomorrow morning?
Probably. I'm not. I'm sad to say I'm not going to my church though tomorrow. I really like my church, and I really like most churches. I really do. But I'm not going to my church tomorrow because my mom and stepdad are going to a different church, so I'm going with them.
Okay, fair enough. And by the way, did you set up your driver's test?
I am going to do that this Monday.
Oh, you told me a couple of days ago you were going to set it up.
Yeah, well, John, you also told me you were going to pass your Regent test the first time, but
well, you stop bringing.
You can't always.
But do you think you're going to pass it this time, Joseph?
Yes, I do. I had a reason. There was a reason I failed the first time.
What was that reason?
And I filled that reason. It's a long, complicated, in-depth story.
We have time.
A long story that we really don't have time, John. In fact, we have 6 minutes.
Whoa. What are you talking about? 6 minutes. Whoa. What happened?
What? We have 6 minutes, then I have to go.
All right. Well, let's get into our dumb headlines. Well,
wait. You asked a question. I'm gonna give you an answer. The person that was my driving instructor needed to hear the gospel, and she needed to hear it from a person that wasn't already happy, right? She needed to know somebody was willing to love her even when she failed them, and that's what I did.
So are you telling me that before your next road test, you're going to read the gospel to the woman in your driver's?
Possibly.
Okay. All right. Let's go into our dumb headline, or just dumb headline because some idiot's only giving us 6 minutes. Okay. Ohio man who stole from Walmart chooses to wear a sign over his head that says, "I am a thief," over going to jail. So this guy in Ohio, he went into a Walmart and he stole merchandise. It doesn't say what. And then they gave him an option whether or not he should serve 30 days in jail, or he has to go for outside for 8 hours a day for 10 days wearing a sign over him that says, "I am a thief. I stole from Walmart." And he chose the sign.
I would too.
Good for him. I mean, that must be an awesome sight to see.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, man. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. And I kind of feel like our other headline was kind of a dumb headline where the cop arrested the man for failed return VHS tape.
Yeah, that's fair. That's stupid too. Do I have any stupid? And the guy who got drunk and took the bet. Like, that was a stupid headline too.
The show is all stupid headlines, really. But Joe, what do you have for our recommendations this week?
Oh gosh, I'm watching a show. It's an older TV show, but it's really good. It's on Netflix. It's called House. House.
Oh, it's an old show, yeah.
I really enjoy it. Like, it's nothing new, but it's a good thing. Like, it's a good TV show. I would highly recommend it to you. It's the best I got for you fans.
Best I got. I hate you all.
No, that's not true. I love you guys. Send in your prayer requests, guys. Come on, we love you. Right, I'll pray for you. I can't guarantee John will, but I'll pray for you. Right, you send in those emails, and I'd love to pray for you guys.
All right, I wanted to recommend. The other night there's a party at Comic Book Jones on Staten Island on Forest Avenue. They had a sale in honor of the movie Batman vs. Superman, where they pick a number out of a hat between 15 and 60, and whatever number they pick out, every single thing in the store is that off. So the number 32 came out, so everything in the store was 32% off. And so I picked up this bad boy, Rocket Raccoon and Groot, the comic book, number 1. I didn't know that. I didn't even know that was a comic book, but I found it. I'm like, I gotta read this. So I picked this up, and I'm looking forward to reading it ASAP. So that is what I am picking for my recommendation this week. And you should go down to Comic Book Jones. Really, those guys are really cool. Now, Joe, we had a great podcast that's ending early. What should we name it?
Let's see. What were our stupid headlines again, John?
The stupid headlines were the Ohio man who stole from Walmart. And then we talked about the man who didn't return the VHS tape in Pennsylvania.
Oh, how about Easter Special? We'll call it the Easter Special.
The Easter Special. Got it.
J&J Podcast, Episode 11, Easter Special. You got it.
Guys, thank you guys so much for listening to us. Check back in with us next week. We post a new episode every Wednesday at midnight. Thank you guys for listening and loving. We love you guys. Thank you guys so much. And peace out, Cub Scout.
Peace out, Cub Scout.